Told you.
Yeah, Doc, you just got to talk about it. You're doing just great, but in spite of the fact that the team is playing well with one loss record, how draining has it been on you personally, this whole situation with Blake?
Oh, I don't know if it's, it is what it is. So, Jim, you just deal with it and just keep moving forward. I think our whole group is a believer in that. Obviously what happened, none of us want it to happen. And in my opinion, there are all good people involved, and this happened. So, you just move on. Like I said the other night, you try to turn every situation into a teaching moment and a learning moment, for all of us. And you just kind of move on and just keep going. That's all we can do, Can't get anything back, so you just have to keep moving forward.
Two things. One, the status of the investigation, and also the punishment for Blake. Is that something that's decided in conjunction with the NBA, or do they have sole discretion on that? How does that work?
Not sure yet on the second one. I think it'll be dual. I think both parties will get together. But usually the league leads. In any of that stuff. As far as the investigation, I think it's over or close to being over. So that's good.
How interested are you in getting to the bottom of what happened that night? Does that matter to you? Are you satisfied with the information you all
Yeah, I think I'm satisfied. I know what happened. So.
Is the stuff that happened that night, does that affect your long-term vision for this team and
No.
what can or can't be?
No.
Doc, can you just talk about the dynamic of the team, like JJ said the other day, galvanizing itself through adversity, and what do you see in this team that makes you think that it can do that?
Well, we have experience. That's one thing. So.
I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, me either. But you threw it out there, so I thought I would use it. I don't know. I mean, you never know how. Every team, even if it's the same team, you honestly don't even know the following. If something happens, if they are that team that year, I think our team is really close, and I think that's why this, affected all of us. And, we seem to be like really kind of rallying around each other, and that doesn't mean you play good basketball. That just means everybody is supporting everybody, and everyone wants everyone to get through this with as little harm as possible, and that's hard to do. But I think our guys have been pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And Doc, you had indicated the other night you thought Blake could be on the bench. Is that still the case?
No, he's not going to be here.
Tonight or in the near future?
Well, hopefully in the near future he will be, but just not tonight.
Doc, you say you know what happened. Are you still holding to the version where there was no alcohol involved, or was alcohol causative, or was alcohol involved?
Well, it depends on what you call alcohol. I feel like Bill Clinton right now. It really does. I mean, if you have the guys have a drink, I'm sure they did. But other than that, I'm going to say no, alcohol wasn't involved as far as the other stuff.
Well, you say you know what happened.
Yeah.
What can you share with us?
I don't need to share anything with you guys. I think I haven't read anything, but I'm pretty sure it's been all written about, correct? There's been a lot in the press, so my advice, Mark, would be to read your paper.
Well, no, I mean, we're not
I
supposed to get our news out in newspapers. We're supposed to ask the primary sources.
Is that right? Well, I was not the primary source, yeah. But anyway, it's still an investigation, so I'm not going to go into detail about this thing. The way we look at it, though, is we're very satisfied with all the information we have. For us, it's close. Obviously the league has to do something in us later, but as far as the investigation part and the knowledge we have of it, we know enough.
Doc, what do you need, and I'm sure you've talked to Blake, but just going forward, what do you need to hear from him? What does he need to tell his teammates, and most importantly, what does he have to tell the Tigers in terms of?
I think he's done all the above. I mean, I've talked to him, obviously, and, he feels awful. I mean, I don't know what more he can do than that, really. I mean, You know, guys, we've all, not all of us, we've done some dumb things in our lives, and you know it when you do it, and you feel awful about it. And you just hope that you can get past it and move on. And, you know, he's not even looking at moving on right now, even though we will. You know, he feels awful about it, and he's let everyone know that. And that's really, you know, it's all you can do, man. You gotta forgive people at some point. I believe that. We built Richard Nixon a library. I mean, my goodness. You know, you forgive people, you really do. And you kind of move on and you build it back. Our team's pretty good. Our team's pretty tight. So, you know, we'll get through it.
Doc, say Blake's out 4 to 6 weeks because of the hand, then the NBA steps in, and it's however much longer. Can this team keep winning and hang on to home court?
I'm hoping so. You know, we know it's gonna be hard. We knew that when he got injured. We're doing well right now. We know that, you know, it's hard to keep doing this. We understand all that, but our guys, all we can do every night is lace them up and try to win that game. Whenever we have things like this, we try to turn it into a single game. You know, where before you know, when you have your team in whole, you do blocks of games. You know, let's do this. Well, once a key guy to your team gets injured, the blocks are done. You go to each game and you try to make that game the most important game until the next game, and you tell them before the game, I don't know how we're going to play. You know, we may play small, big, we may play all guards. Just be ready. And our guys, I think, have done a really good job there.
What's behind the decision that Blake's not here tonight?
Because you guys are here.
He didn't want to be here, or the team didn't want
No, I think all the above. I think he would have come, obviously. We have a game tonight, a game of basketball. That's what we actually are getting paid for, to play the Lakers. And so we just feel like, let's wait until the investigation is over. Then it'll be out and we can talk about it. But until then, I have to try to play the Lakers. I know you guys want to do your jobs, but your job doesn't affect my job. My job is to beat the Lakers and try to beat the Lakers. And that's all I have to focus on.
When might Matthias come back, and has him and Blake reached some kind of agreement that would enable them to avoid any kind of legal situation, civil suit?
Yeah, I don't know all that. I mean, they're talking, you know, so that's good. And you know, other than that, I don't know about the legal stuff.
When's Matthias coming back?
I don't know yet.
As far as how this does affect basketball, you guys are forced to play very small now. Are there roster moves that can be made to rectify this? Are there things like that are you comfortable going forward with a small ball oriented?
I'm comfortable with our team as a whole, is what I'm saying. So when we get Blake back and healthy, I'm really comfortable with that team because of what we've gone through playing small. Now, we clearly have established that we can play two different ways, and I think that reads out for me as a coach great later. The problem is, can we get, you know, to that point, how far we can go just playing this way. We don't know the answer to that. It's going to be hard to make moves. We'll try, obviously, just like everyone else in the league. But I just look at the long pitch instead of the current. I know once Blake gets back, you know, the fact that this group has been forced to play that way, and now we know we have two ways to play. I look at our team, you know, moving forward, we could be really good. But we just got to get the Blake back first part of it.
Doc, obviously no Kobe tonight, but what concerns you about the Lakers?
We're going to sit Paul in too because of the age limit. There must be an age limit in this game. So we're sitting Paul Pierce and Kobe. That'll be smart.
Especially with, you know.
Are you really saying Paul?
Yeah, we are sitting Paul. You think I'm joking? Yeah, no, they're both sitting. I think they called each other. Yeah.
But what concerns you with this team, especially with D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson and those guys?
Well, we had a 28-point lead. They cut it to 7 the last time, and they did it with their energy. They did it with the transition D. They did it by getting all the 50-50 balls because they're young and athletic. And if you allow them to be young and athletic, then they'll beat you. You know, and so you have to try to take that part out of the game.
Just looking more mechanically, do you have to pay more attention just on the burden that Chris is going to take for the next, 8 weeks or whatever it might be?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, we do. That's funny. That was discussed today. Like, his minutes are still down. Like, even through this stretch, we still have kept his minutes down, and that's gotta be what we have to do, you know, no matter what. Like, and again, that's almost the big picture again. We gotta preserve him through this, you know, and that's probably the little part that people don't know. That's the biggest part of this whole thing. If we can still win games, and still not stretch him and then get Blake back, that makes us a whole team.
Who fills that facilitator role, the secondary
No
facilitator
one,
role?
no one. I mean, Blake.
Right.
You know, you wanna be honest, really. The second group has done a great job. I mean, the last 2 games, they've been terrific, and, you know, they all do. Like, we had a great meeting after their debacle in Toronto, and, you know, as far as the second unit's debacle in Toronto. And, we showed them film, and we just told them there's no guard, they're all guards. So, that one guy, you know, we had clips where all 3 of them were running from the ball, and all 3 of them were running away from the ball, and, you know, so now they're spacing, they've been playing great, and that's important for us. But then no one's gonna do what Chris does, no one, maybe no one in the league. And then, you know, no one's gonna do what Blake does. So when you have both of those ball movers and facilitators off the floor, you gotta be a little creative.
Doc, I think you said this already, I just wanna make sure, Blake and Matthias, they've spoken to each other.
Yeah,
they shake hands.
I wasn't in the conversation, but I know that they've communicated to each other. What? That's a first.
Last question.
Thank you, Dan.
Has there been any discussion about anger management for Blake?
I don't know, what the hell, I don't know that, I mean, we're trying to, you know, I said, it's not a bad question, obviously, we wanna do, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to get all of us, not just Blake, all of us right, and if that's what it takes, we'll do it, but, you know, we're one step at a time right now, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.